Hello there, welcome back. If you're new, welcome in the first place. We're going to be talking today about, where is it? Whitesnake, the special gold edition of the Purple album. Bit of a mouthful that, isn't it? The gold edition of the Purple album. It's not the most catchy. However, this project I think is flying under the radar quite a bit. Where it's actually much more interesting, especially this edition, you'd think. It's closer to as important as the Restless Heart remix for Whitesnake fans. Actually, it's very important for Deep Purple fans too, but we'll go into that. And I had no idea how under the radar it was, but I was texting Pete from Sea of Tranquility, and even he didn't know just what was on this and why it's important. So it means a lot to me, this record, because the first tour I saw them on was the Purple Tour. And when this was announced, I assumed, stupidly, because I'm the one that's done videos about these box sets, saying how amazing they are and how great these remixes are, etc., etc. And yet, when they announced the Purple album, I assumed, okay, it'll be tarted up a little bit, bonus track or two. They might add the Purple Tour disc onto the Purple album, make it a 2-disc set. It's actually a 3-disc set, so I assumed, okay, so they'll add the bonus disc on, the live Blu-ray that came with the Purple Tour. Big whoop. I'm very cynical in my own head. No, it's actually one of these great revisited, remixed, remastered releases. And if you did pick up the Restless Heart remix, which was a completely different beast from that original, completely, then you'll know just how radical these can be. This isn't as massive a reinvention, but it's massively important for other reasons as well. So a little bit of the history of it. John Lord, bless him, was dying. He had very slim chance of recovery. Still in contact with old friends and whatnot, and he said to Coverdale, "Do you think you'd like to make some music together again?" And Coverdale, knowing that John didn't have much of a chance, said yes, but he wanted to anyway. He always liked John Lord, so it's not a case of, oh, just tell him what he wants to hear. He genuinely wanted to work with John Lord, sick or not. So he said, yep, as soon as you're better, we'll work together, no problem. Never happened, of course, so the idea then transmorphed into a tribute record to John Lord, and then paying tribute to all of Deep Purple and the legacy. And the idea became, why don't we do Blackmore Coverdale? So he contacted Richie Blackmore's people, got Candice's email and things. So emailed back and forth, and it became apparent that the two ideas were just too far apart. You know, right, we're not doing medieval stuff, alright? Deep Purple medieval style, no that's probably not what Richie's idea was, but who cares? Stop talking about mead and suckling boars. So the idea to do that was ditched, and then what else do you do? You're not going to get Ian Pace to leave the proper Deep Purple. So, okay, why don't we see what it's like translating this as Whitesnake? Because in 2004, David Coverdale started playing Burn on Whitesnake set lists. And people were asking, what was that song? That was great. No idea what it was. So there was a large part of the, especially American, according to David, audience that he'd cultivated with the 87 record in particular, who had no idea about his involvement with Deep Purple. And especially after, again, the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame ceremony, he was asked over and over by people who had literally no idea that he was even in Deep Purple. Oh, when were you in Deep Purple? As if he just got on stage for a laugh or something. It makes you wonder if they did hear the songs like Burn or whatever, who did they think was singing? Did they think that was Ian Gillan? But we won't go into all the Deep Purple camp stuff with the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, because we'll end up on a why wasn't Nick Simper inducted rant. We don't want to go in that rabbit hole again. So he goes back and says, okay, what can it be then? why don't we try and snake it up? And it's kind of the genesis of what he's been doing for the past decade since, why don't I try and turn Restless Heart into a proper Whitesnake album? Why don't we take some of these older Whitesnake songs and try and snake them up a bit? And it worked gloriously. Songs on this record that come from Deep Purple's Marks 3 and 4 translate perfectly to the Whitesnake sounds. It's curated very well. I think there's quite a large focus on Burn in particular on that record, and not quite as much on the follow-ups, especially Come Taste the Band. But regardless, we get 15 new interpretations, if you will. And this has been wonderfully touched up again. So I don't need to review the actual album, I think, because the album itself, Whitesnake fans and probably quite a lot of Purple fans have it, but it's a brilliant reinterpretation of Purple songs in the Whitesnake style. So I should mention though that it's been touched up once more. So you get, I think it's You Feel No One, right? So You Feel No One now has a part of Jeff Beck's Itchy Fingers in it, as a tribute to Jeff Beck as well, which is a bit off the point, but still, regardless, it's cool to have that. So they've added in new parts as well. They've beefed up the sound. Derek Sherinian's come in, as he has on most of these projects, and added new keys parts and really, really beefed up. And if anybody can lay claim to being a reincarnation of John Lord, I'm sure Derek would wince at the comparison, but he's as close as we're going to get these days. So it's very fitting that Derek should be on there. But yeah, so Burn, Lay Down, Stay Down, Love Child, Holy Man, The Gypsy, Lady Double Dealer, Might Just Take Your Life, Mistreated. So Mistreated is a good example where you can hear the difference. So essentially the arrangement's the same, but it's the actual playing that tells you, this is much more of a Whitesnake song now, isn't it? It's more rock, it's more American sound, and it's more beefy, which great. And that's also got the string section where they call the Hook City strings when he uses them. You Feel No One, Lady Luck, Coming Home, You Feel No One, and then rounds it off with Soldier of Fortune. But it's not all just straight ahead versions. I mean, Sail Away, for example, is a much more quiet and acoustic Sail Away tomorrow, and it doesn't have the it never goes that rocky way that the original does. It's all low-key acoustic, and that song, Sail Away, has the Elegy for John in the middle of it, which great. In terms of what's been added here, you get Disc 2 adds 5 live tracks, which, okay, we've got the Purple Tour disc already, so not sure how necessary they are, but still. Burn, The Gypsy, Mistreated, You Feel No One, Soldier of Fortune. And then it starts to add in other things like Holy Man, which is the same version that was on the Unzipped set, which a lot of fans didn't bother with, so actually I don't mind that being here. Stormbringer, which is the Punch in the Nuts mix. Love Child, an alternate mix again. Soldier of Fortune, which has got Joe Hoekstra in the string section on that. Soldier of Fortune, again, is a string-led version this time. And an instrumental version of Soldier of Fortune as well. Talking about the band, the original idea was starting with the Doug Aldrich lineup, but it became apparent that Doug's style wasn't quite in sync with where the project needed to go, so Reb Beach stepped up to become the band leader of this one, and Joel came in to make it a 2-guitar lineup. And then of course, where is he? Well, Michael, of course, on bass as well, but then obviously Tommy Aldridge on drums, and David Coverdale on vocals. So some of the vocals are done by David Coverdale, kind of stretching his vocals quite a lot to cover the Glenn Hughes parts. Other ones are actually Joel doing them. But Coverdale does a lot more of Glenn's parts than you'd think. They do have to bring them down, obviously, in range, but still. Right, we're going to get into the real treasure now, and this is why I think that this album should appeal to a lot more fans of Coverdale and Deep Purple. You get the 1972 David Coverdale Purple Edition tape, which is by his then band, the Fabulosa Brothers. So it's the tape that he sent into Deep Purple to audition for the band in 72 when they were looking for a singer. And famously at the time, that was when Richie was thinking Paul Rogers, Phil Lynott, he wanted that kind of voice. You can hear it. You can hear it in the vocals. Coverdale's doing a very Paul Rogers thing. It sounds like, wait a minute, should you not be singing My Brother Jake or something? It's terrific. It's, wow, what a treasure. So it was found in his mother's possessions when she passed away. And this is the first time they've been heard, which, wow, what treasure to hear his actual audition tape. The quality is obviously not 100%. It was done by an amateur band just hitting a record on a tape player in 1972, so you imagine. But you get 5 songs. So you get, they're quite odd ones that you probably wouldn't imagine you'd audition for Deep Purple with these songs. You get Everybody's Talking. Yes, that one. It's more like the Fred Neil version than the Nielsen one, but unfortunately Coverdale doesn't do the it doesn't do those parts. Get Ready, Bill Withers' Lonely Town, Lonely Street, and then here's the treasure. David Coverdale doing Dancing in the Street, Dancing in Chicago by Martha Reeves and the Vandellas. A real slow bluesy version. 'Cause summer's here and the time is right. It's really slow tempo. It's cool. And they're all credited the original band, and wonderfully in the booklet they all give an interview as well. The surviving members give an interview. So who's Alan Fernley, Merv Jones, Ottie McLaughlin, they all come in to do this interview, and it was done in July 2023, so pretty recent. Talking about the Fabulosa Brothers. So yeah, what treasure then? What treasure for Purple fans to hear that this is the tape that got him in the door of Deep Purple. So this is the one little tape that got him Deep Purple in general. That makes this essential for Deep Purple fans in my opinion, especially Deep Purple Marks 3 and 4 fans, and Coverdale fans in general. Doesn't quite end there, because the last track on that disc is 1974 demos for the Stormbringer album. They're much shorter, so they're all in one track. It's about 6 minutes long, and you just get little sketches, really. You just get ideas. So you can hear fragments, you can hear DNA, but it's 6 minutes in total of just little song sketches. And it's not revelatory, but hey, it's Stormbringer outtakes that we haven't heard before, so that'll do. The Blu-ray replicates a couple of things, but only a couple of things from the if you have the special edition DVD as was, and if you have the Purple Tour special edition that came with the Blu-ray as well. So you get the music videos for Lady Double Dealer, Stormbringer, Sail Away, Soldier of Fortune, Gypsy, and the string version of Soldier of Fortune. The Purple Snake videos of Lay Down, Stay Down, Holy Man, You Keep On Moving, You Feel No One. Live versions of Burn from the Atlantis, Burn and Stormbringer from In the Still of the Night, Soldier of Fortune from Starkers in Tokyo, and then from the Purple Tour, these are the ones that are replicated. Burn, Gypsy, Mistreated, You Feel No One, Soldier of Fortune. You're going to have plenty of versions of Soldier of Fortune once you've done with this set. You get behind the scenes with the record, which goes into the concept. I've given you a short version. If you only want to know that, that's fine. And then how it all came together and whatnot. And then Coverdale does a commentary on it, the Purple album song by song. So DT actually takes you through the whole album and kind of thoughts and opinions on each track. And this was a Ritchie track, and then Glenn came in and added this, and I said, well, I'd like to sing a bit more powerfully there, and then you know, Glenn said, "Well, I'll sing over you here," and blah 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 blah. So it's really interesting, really interesting. So yeah, I mean it's just stacked, to be honest. It really is just stacked. But I think it needs more attention because first of all, I've got a great personal attachment to it because it's the first era I saw Whitesnake live in. The Purple Tour was my first tour that I saw them in. But for Deep Purple fans, to get David Coverdale's original demo is like searching for the Holy Grail. It's a little bit of Sail Away for you there. It was a pun, thank you. But what you get apart from that is just stacked. And the remixed album has been beefed up perfectly. Derek Sherinian adding just sugar on it, just sugar over everything. Something that was already sweet, he's sweetened it up even more. Or, if you like, he's added sizzle to the steak. There's other overdubs on it as well. There's guitar parts that have been added just to beef up the sound just a little bit more. It's fully accredited in the booklet. And you can kind of piece together from the original videos and whatnot how different it sounds. Essentially, this is now the best version of this record. And I don't think you need both versions. I'll keep both versions, but I don't think you need both versions. This is the version that you should now have. It's the snakiest of the snakes, but with so much treasure. Not just from a nostalgia viewpoint for Deep Purple fans to hear reinterpretations by their old lead singer, but by gum, to hear that demo. I don't think the music itself was too appealing to a lot of Deep Purple fans who want something heavier. But just to think, wow, we've always heard about this, this audition process and how they got this 21-year-old from Middlesbrough that had been working at tailors and things. This is it. It's here. So yeah, I'll cut it short-ish there. Yeah, if you haven't heard it, just do. Beg, steal and borrow. Why am I just doing Sail Away? Sail Away seems to apply to quite a lot of what I'm saying, doesn't it? Anyway, so yeah, Purple Album, Gold Edition. This is the one you want. That's the end of the video, folks. Thank you very much for your attention. Comments, suggestions, complaints, the usual, yada yada yada. And I'll see you a couple of times over the weekends. A couple of guests. So I'll see you a couple of times then and there. Till then, my dears, cheerio.